Hey everyone, this is a video that we've created to talk about buying signals. When to get in, when to get out, when to get in, when to get out. Now, buying a stock is very easy. Getting out of a stock is the hard part. Not a lot of people know that stocks they're like a wave in the ocean. So you see the wave and it's coming forward, it's coming towards you. That's one trend. And then the wave dies down. That's a part of the trend. And then you see another wave, that's another part of the trend. And then the wave dies down, that's another part of the trend. So every time the wave goes up, comes right back down, goes up, comes back down, that's a part of the trend. Now when you see a tsunami is when you see a stock is breaking out. That's when a stock is breaking out of its trend. So what we need to do is we need to find stocks that are trading within a trend and trade them either within the trend, from the low point of the trend to the high point of the trend, or we need to be the type of traders that are looking for stocks breaking out of their trend, and we get into them after they break out of their trend. So we need to figure out who we are. So in terms of finding stocks that are within a trend, it's very simple. You can go to Finviz, you can go to any software any scanner that you're looking for, and you can say, you know what, show me a pattern where there's a trend. A channel up is a trend, and just a simple channel is a trend, right? And then you got one that says horizontal support and resistance. So you can get into any one of these, and basically the stock is within a trend. So let's just go and look at a channel uptrend. So now you got a whole page of stocks that are trading within a trend. So your goal has to be to trade this stock between a trend. So the bottom portion of the trend is this line. The top portion of the trend is this line, this purple line. So what you need to do is you want to get into a stock where it goes from here to there, here to there, here to there. Either you can get into that, or you could simply say, I'm going to get in when the stock breaks out of the trend. So look at it this way. You get in at the bottom here, you go to this top, you sell there, you go to the bottom here, you sell at the top of the trend there, you get in at the bottom of the trend again. It takes a little while, and it eventually does get to the top of the trend. But you can trade this way, or you can just be trading the stocks that are breaking out of their trend. Let's see if we can find one here. Let's see the stocks that moved up last week and see if we can find a stock that broke out of its trend. Let's look at SINO. No trend there. And then we got GLBS. Nope. Let's look at Apple. Oh well, look at that. Look at that. So we got the top of the trend, we got the bottom of the trend. And then it doesn't go up to the top of the trend again. This is what you need to learn as to why it didn't go to the top of the trend line. Why it stopped right there. Why it stopped right there and it started coming back down. That's something where it takes a little bit of time, a little bit of training, a little bit of mentoring to know what this is, or it can take a few years of your own learning where you can learn how this works. So basically there are certain rules in place that help you trade the stock within that trend. TSLA, let's take a look at this one. Look at this. You can buy it at the bottom here, sell at the top there, and then you can short it right back down. Why it doesn't go to the bottom? Again, these are lessons that you need to learn from somebody that has been trading for a very long time. Why it didn't go all the way to the top of the trend? Right? Why it came back down? Why it went up again, down, up, and it finally broke out below this trend line. Right? So these are the things that that make a big difference. One tool that can really help you with these trends is the MACD. Is the MACD tool. Anytime there's a crossover, it's the beginning of a new trend. Anytime there's a cross below, there's the ending of that trend and a beginning of a downtrend, and then an uptrend and then a downtrend. But you can see here a lot of the things don't make sense because there's a crossover right over here, cross below. It tries to cross above, it fails, crosses above, cross below, cross below. But if you look at the cross above here, the stock doesn't really move higher. Why doesn't it move higher? Right? Crosses below, the stock doesn't really move lower. Over here there's a cross above, the stock doesn't really move higher. It goes up a little bit, it gaps up and it comes right back down. Now, why couldn't we just get into a move where we got into something like this? Because there was a MACD crossover here as well. Why couldn't we have gone into this move? The reality is, this is what we teach in our courses. This is what we teach our students. You can get into these stocks at these trends. You can get in at this MACD crossover and not this one. This is what you learn. You can get in. You wouldn't get into this one right here. You wouldn't. You wouldn't get into this one right here either. Right? So this is what we teach. And the reality is, you can just put up a video to explain how all of this stuff works, but it's not something that's done over the span of 30 minutes or an hour. These are weekly lessons where we teach every week, we explain how it works, and there are other tools that need to be combined with these to explain how it works. Now, to do all of that, it has to be implemented the correct way. You can't just be like, okay, I'm gonna get in on the next MACD crossover just because it looks good, or just because the 3 MACD crossovers can't fail. On the third one, it is gonna work, or the fourth one, or the fifth one, it is gonna work. How much money are you gonna lose every time you buy when the MACD crosses above? Lose a lot of money. So either you can lose all of that money to find out how it works, or you could just pay somebody to teach you how to do it properly. Now, for myself, I was in the automotive repair industry. I had a business, a reputable business. I had that business for about 8 years. I did really well, and I sold it because I couldn't work in the cold anymore. Right? I live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and our winters are pretty bad up here. It gets really cold, and I just couldn't do it anymore. It was too much. Right? But the reality was that either you could do the repairs yourself as a retail customer, or you can just take it to an automotive repair technician who could do the work for you. A lot of the times what we had was people coming in saying, hey guys, can you help me out? I was trying to do the job myself, and I did this or I did that. Sometimes people were breaking bolts and nuts because they were rusted and they didn't know the proper procedure to remove that bolt or nut, and now they broke it, and now in order to get it out, you have to drill it out. Right? That was one example. Other examples were I was taking off this line and I didn't know that there was a right way of doing it. I just took it off, and this spring went that way, this ball went that way, that bolt went this way, and I don't know how everything goes back together. But if you took it to a professional who does this for a living, who does this on a regular basis on every single day, even if it does fall out of order, because they've put it back together so many times, they know which order this certain part goes back in. Right? And then there were people that, that for something as simple as an oil change, people said, hey, you know what, I can't take off this filter. this oil filter is not coming off. But if they knew that, running the car for 5 to 10 minutes before an oil change can help warm up the oil inside and warm up the seal that goes between the engine and the oil filter, which makes it easier to take off the oil filter, they wouldn't struggle with it because they went to a professional. There are so many examples that can go on and on and on all day long as to how it could have been easier if they had just let the professional do it. Now the same thing goes for you. You can either get into a stock and try over and over and over again, or you can just let somebody teach you the way it's supposed to be done the first time around, and you don't have to deal with the mess of having to deal with the losses and still not learning. Some people, we have students that have been trading for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, 9 years, and they finally said, it's time for me to make a move. It's time for me to make a change in my life. And they did. And now it's paying off for them. So these are the things, if you take it seriously, it can help a lot. Like, look at it right here. There's a MACD crossover. The stock does move higher. But why is it that over here, the stock just takes off? Why is it that at this MACD crossover, the stock just goes nuts? Right? There are things that need to be, implemented correctly, and you will see the results. And it's that simple. It's that simple. I swear to God, it's that simple. All you have to do is to know how to use the tools. You have the tools. Right? Look at this. Look at this list here. Look at this list here. These are all tools. You have to know how to use them. And the reason this makes a lot of sense to me is because I come from an industry where you needed tools to complete a task. And if you didn't know how to use them properly, you were going to have a lot of problems. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. I just wanted to do this because a lot of people, I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I look to see, what people are trying to teach people that don't know how to trade yet. A lot of the information that's out there won't explain these things. All they're talking about is how much money they've made and what stock they got into and why they got into the stock. But they don't explain what the fundamentals are, what the reasoning behind it is. And, I think that's very important. Because these are the things I wish somebody had taught me before I went ahead and lost around $60,000. Right? These things, they make a big difference. I wish somebody had taught me these things right from the beginning. I couldn't find any YouTube videos or any video or any book or any lesson anywhere which was talking about trends and why they matter so much. You have to identify the trend. In order to identify the trend, you have to be able to identify the support and resistance lines. In order to be able to do that, you have to join a few tools together to make it happen. Now, to get everybody on that same level, like the reason, one of the major reasons why we have issues with drawing the wrong trend and support lines is that even after 12 to 15 lessons with me, there are some members that still don't understand the concept, and I'm with them for life. I'm with them until they understand that concept. Our mentoring program is supposed to be for 3 months. These members are with me almost 4.5, 5, maybe even 6 months now. Until they understand, I'm gonna keep on going. But there are some students who didn't even have a single one-on-one lesson with me because they watched our self-learn videos and they learned the whole concept just by watching the videos, and I never got to hear their voice because they said they understand the concept. And then there are some students who are right on pace. It's a month and a half in and they know half of what they need to know. So simple as that. It really depends on you, but the reality is you need somebody that's going to stick with you until the end, and I am that person, because I will do for you what nobody did for me, and I feel your pain, and I want you to stop giving Wall Street money. I want you to become profitable. I want you to have a life where you can, talk to your wife and have some self-respect and not feel like a loser, or talk to your husband and not feel like a loser. Making all these promises. Oh, we're gonna have these days. Oh, we're gonna have this much success. We're gonna go on vacations. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Just a matter of time. How many days, months, years have gone by where you've just been making these fake and false promises, and nothing's been happening. Now, you might not be that person, but there is somebody out there that's going through that same struggle. I was at that one point going through that same struggle, and my wife stuck with me. My family stuck with me. They said, you know what, we believe you can do it. Whatever I know, I learned myself. And it works. It definitely works. So that's basically what it comes down to. If you feel like, you're the type of person that can use this, email us. Go to faisamtrader.com, FAISAM trader.com. Go to the contact us page, send us an email, ask us any questions that you have, and we will answer those questions gladly. It's the matter of learning the trend. You have to know what the trend is, and you have to know if you want to be the type of trader that's going to trade within the trend, or you're going to be the type of trader that wants to trade when the stock breaks out of the trend. Identifying the correct breakout is very important, because there was a breakout here. It broke out of the trend, came back down, and then it took off. You can identify these moves before they happen. Alright guys, my goal was to complete this video and make it as short as possible. I've extended it a little bit longer than I would have wanted to, but I hope I got the message across, and I wish you the best of luck.